Let's begin with the headline of the week: expanding gambling in the state of Arizona to include sports betting. Proponents say this pumps at least $100 million into the state of Arizona. What was some of the kickback that delayed the vote?
So there was a lot of trouble just getting this bill up for a vote in the Senate, in part because one very powerful senator, David Gowan from Sierra Vista, who's the chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee, tried for a while to hold up this bill, which is a priority for the governor, in exchange for getting some things that are a priority for him, including increasing per diem payments, the daily allowances that lawmakers get to cover their costs of commuting to Phoenix, or allowing for historic horse racing, which is betting on horse races that have already happened. The governor didn't want either of those. There was a standoff for a few weeks, but finally this week, this bill came to the Senate floor, and within a few days, Governor Ducey had signed it.
I mean, what you're describing is political theater. This is, if you vote for this, I'll give you this. Is that what this came down to?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, I want to talk about another topic that came up this week that is really causing some controversy. A bill about sex education, and it looks like at this point, parents will have to give the green light for a school to teach their child things about gender identity. What's the latest?
So, right now, you still have the opportunity as a parent to opt out of sex education. And a number of Republican lawmakers want to change that to requiring parents to opt in. This bill, which is waiting for a signature or veto from the governor as late, it needs to happen by Tuesday. This bill would also potentially prohibit any acknowledgement of sexuality, homosexuality, or gender identity in other classes. You might not be able to learn about, say, Harvey Milk being the first elected gay official. You might not learn about homosexual themes in reading materials. And it's unclear just how far this would reach. There were a number of parents of gay and trans youth standing outside as the governor prepared to sign his sports betting bill this week, trying to urge him to veto this other bill that they say will have a really bad impact on their children and potentially others.
As legislators start to wind down, let's talk about something that is also kind of fizzled out, it seems. Legislation over voting. We saw this in other states across the country. Did it gain any traction in Arizona this session?
It gained quite a bit of traction, but right now, as we're talking, it's unclear what the future of a number of these bills might be. There are quite a few that are still waiting for debate or votes in their second chamber, although that could happen at any point between now and when lawmakers call it a session and adjourn sine die. So, one thing that we did see in the past few weeks was the business community really coming out and condemning these bills, the law that just passed in Georgia and bills on the move in other states. It does seem that Republicans in the legislature are holding back a little. They don't want to pass anything too big while there's so much attention on it, but these bills could always come back. The governor did sign one bill that would ban the use of private funds for elections. This is targeting something that a few counties and the Secretary of State accepted private funds to do voter outreach when the legislature did not come through with the funding they had requested.
And time is truly of the essence because they usually start to wind down session to sine die. Are they targeting late April, May, or should I say we're moving into June on this one?
Don't make any vacation plans is probably the best answer for that. They are supposed to wrap up their session within 100 days, and we are coming right up on that 100-day mark. But I imagine we will be here for at least another month, if not longer. Part of it's that there's just so much money to spend or to give away in tax cuts. And when there's more money to divvy up, there's a lot more people who want a piece of it, and the session tends to drag on.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention COVID-19. Looking back, you've been there every single day, whether it be virtually or outside the Capitol. How did that impact discussions this session?
It's definitely a very different capital this year. So there's very limited public presence. In the Senate, most days it is just me there as a reporter, and I'm stuck up in the gallery. I can't even go onto the floor and talk with people because they replace their press tables with Zoom screens for senators. There aren't members of the public there. So even if they're passing bills that would normally bring out, say, the Red for Ed teachers and have people pack this gallery, you don't see that presence. And so it's a very different, more subdued session. If you look in some ways, when you look on video, it looks like it's a normal year now because most Republicans in the legislature have done away with their face masks. And if you can get a screen that's just them, it's almost a semblance of a normal year, just with fewer people around.
Julia Shumway, thank you for your insight joining us from the